First item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda, and we've got to change the closed session. The one that is there, consult with attorney, needs to be removed. And we need to add, I'm echoing. Okay. It's 143-318, period 11A4, economic development. And 143-318, period 11A6, personnel.
Agenda as modified to include closed session, 143.318.11A as in Adam Ford, development, and 143.318.11A alpha 6 for, what was it?
Personnel.
I have a question.
Wait,
Yo,
so-
you go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
second.
I'm sorry.
Okay, now.
So the original one was to consult with the attorney. We're not going to be able to do that tonight. Is that what I understand?
That's correct. He could not be here this evening.
Okay. So I have a motion made by Councilman McGowan, seconded by Councilman Dobbin to approve the agenda. All in favor? All opposed? Okay. The next item is the consent agenda items. Do I have a motion to accept those? Motion made by Councilman Brown and seconded by Councilman Dobbin to approve the consent agenda items. All in favor? All opposed? The next item is a continuing of the ordinance to extend corporate limits, partial ID 05I050221E to October the 20th.
Limits, Gordon Road parcel ID 05105021E as in Edward, continuing until October 20th, 2025.
Motion made by Councilman McGowan, seconded by Councilman Brown. All in favor? The next is to extend the public hearing for partial ID 05I05021E until October the 20th.
I move we reference ordinance to amend zoning of Gordon Road, parcel ID 05105021E Edward, and it be continued until October 20th, 2025 meeting.
Motion made by Councilman Brown, seconded by Councilwoman Dobbin. All in favor? Okay. We have the first open forum. Anybody wishing to address council, please come forward and limit your comments to 3 minutes. No one coming forward, we cancel the first open forum. I just want to say that I want to thank everybody that came out to the park yesterday. We had a very good event. I thank all the council people that showed up, all the staff that showed up, and the people that brought their puppy dogs to the park. It was a beautiful day honoring Karen. It was really touching to me, and I think that her family and JC was very touched by it, and we loved her. But we had a wonderful day, and I'm just so thankful for that. The next thing, I attended a meeting for Councilman Gowan. I went to the Central Pines. I actually went to the meeting. Yes, I did. They've got a beautiful building. Oh, they do. We had a wonderful, wonderful meeting, and it was a real good meeting. I I got to meet a lot of the people that were there, and I had a real good time. So I did fill in for you. But now, if you need me to, I will. But
Something coming up. I can't remember what it was, but
Good.
it's important.
okay,
It's
just
secret. It's secret.
okay, it's secret. You just make sure you tell me when the dates
I
are.
will.
Okay. But that's all I have for my part. So now I'm gonna turn it over to Miss Worley.
Okay. I just have a couple of updates for you before we go into the first item on the agenda. And I just wanted to update you as soon as I can find my piece of paper, which I don't think I put in my folder. Anyway, on the lights for the intersections on I-42, I'm going off of memory. I've been in contact with the engineer for Duke Energy, and we filled out the paperwork, sent that into them, and they are getting some information back to us on a design and what the cost would be for us to do the lights at those two intersections. For the intersection of Wilson's Mills Road and Fire Department Road, I did meet with the manager of JD Store, and he said that he felt like the owners would be in support of this, and so he's supposed to get me some information from them next week that we have to have for the ordinance or for the resolution that you have to approve for us to send in to DOT so that they can get started with the planning and design.
Okay.
So as soon as I get that back from him, we'll send it into DOT, and hopefully we'll get that ready before your October meeting so you can pass it in and then they can get started.
Okay.
I'm going off memory because my sheet is not in here. The master campus plan, I know that there may be some conversation about that as we look at the draft contract with Mosley Architects for the police department. But I did want to let you know that I've spoken with a couple of architects for design of both the Veterans Memorial and the sorry, my mind's going blank. The sign, the front lawn sign. And then we will put some bids out for that. So we'll talk more about that at the work session, but I did want you to know that I've made some contacts this week.
Okay.
I think that's it for now.
And we are not going to be going over the grass because the attorney's not here. He's going to.
Yes, so when we got to that, I was just going to ask you if you could table it until October.
Okay.
But so the next item on your agenda is review of the draft contract. And Josh Bennett from Mosley Architects is here, so I'll ask Josh to come up and just review that with you. In your packet, you should have gotten a copy of the draft contract for design services. I don't think I put, did I put the proposal that they originally submitted? Would have had these pictures on it. Okay.
Oh, there's a lot of.
So they have
pictures.
both of those, Josh. Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening, all. Thank you very
The
much. for
the
having
floor is
me.
yours.
I'm here tonight in support of the town's efforts to design and build a new police station. We have been talking with folks in the town about this project for quite a while now. We're very excited about the opportunity and what this means for the town of Wilson's Mills. Our proposal included what we think are some relevant projects, local, nearby, probably the same size, maybe a little larger than what we discussed and contracted around. We worked with your attorney extensively to refine the terms of the contract that we wrote, and we've got all of their comments incorporated. Our proposal for now takes us through design. So we would stop work at the end of what we call construction documents, and the town would then have the option to proceed with bidding and construction administration, or based on the design and the cost, wait to make any other further adjustments. So we're happy to amend our proposal and contract in any way that sees fit that meets you all's needs. We want to be of assistance. One thing that I did speak with Ms. Worley about was the need for a campus master plan. And that is something that our firm does quite a lot for local governments. And in fact, when we first wrote our proposal for this project, our team really questioned, should we be doing more and exploring more about this site and what your future needs are going to be to make sure that we get this building in the right spot with the right infrastructure. We want to see you set up for success beyond the next 20, 30, 40 years. We just completed a similar effort for Johnston County, and I'm sure that their county manager would explain to you the process that we went through and be happy to tell you about what to expect out of what we were able to do for them. So with that, I'll take any questions that you might have. Yes, sir.
Real quick, sir.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what is concrete soil.
Concrete soil?
I found it, so I guess that just be, it said concrete soil.
Which project was it?
Page 15.
Which project?
design, Under design count, all right, side, our design construction team on cost effective solutions, et cetera, and select backfill and collaboration with third party geotechnical. Most areas, concrete soil serve as a topping material.
Okay. I know what that is. I'm not going to hazard it without the full context of that particular instance. No, it's a real thing, and it's our geotech will recommend, for lack of a better term, soil amendments. So let's say we get out there and we find that there's bad soil, right? They'll come in and they'll say, okay, we're going to replace it with a compactable fill or a concrete soil that we can use to bear the building on. Geotech may also come out and say you've got bad soil, but really if you drove a couple piles or some rammed earth piers or some rammed aggregate piers, that would suffice as well. That's not what we're proposing for this project, mind you. That was a solution on another project, right? Yeah. They make up a lot of words too. Other than that.
All right. I do like microphones, so I'm sorry I didn't have it
Battery
on.
powered, so you've got to be careful. You got it right.
Yeah, that's true. Not all, on page 19, it's not all of these things are recently completed projects. For example, Johnson County Public Service, Public Safety Center is completed last year, a year and a half ago, was it
Year
not?
and a half ago.
Okay, all right, I just want to make sure that I'm looking at the right thing. Okay, the big thing is, and this stymies me a little bit, and I'm wondering how you come about this. If you go to page 20, you don't have it in front of you. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 projects. Then you have columns for budget, bid, final cost, change orders, and then delivery method. I really want to hit one of them at the end of this, because that's going to require a little bit more of a lengthy and maybe somewhat controversial or a questionable answer on your part. So I'm looking at this, and every one of these, I guess it was every one. I'd have to go through and do it again. I'm looking at my notes. The first one, the budget was 17.5 Johnson County. Final cost of the bid price, 17.7. The final price was 18. So you're only 0.5 over, 500,000 over. The next one, you were over, that was considerably larger. No, you were under by 11.1. That was the detention center. Under by 11.1 mil. The next one, Lincoln County Emergency, you were over by just 1 mil. Well, that's not bad. The next one was even. Bladen County, Kemport 16.5 across the board. The next one you were under by 0.4. The next one under by 0.4, and the next one under by 0.5. That's really impressive. When I pick up a newspaper or I read about things, everybody is over budget. How do you go about doing that so well? I mean, I'm impressed. I really am. I'm not being negative, but you were so close on all of these things. How do you do that?
It's a fair question, and I appreciate the skepticism I see in your eyes.
I'm not.
It's
I'm not being skeptical. I'm taking it as the absolute truth, and that's you're not.
I take
Huh?
two.
Oh, you glanced at him.
Oh, did
I? I know.
Sir,
I'm
I
not skeptical.
take two things very seriously, and that is your time and your money. Okay, I spend your money like it's my money. And that to me is very important. We do a lot of these types of projects. We know what they're going to cost. When I come in here and say, hey, if we make this change, it's going to add $500,000. I want to make sure I'm telling you the right thing, because if I'm over or under, it could mean the difference between you guys taking out a bigger loan or between you guys maybe not getting something you thought you originally couldn't, right? So I really don't want you to have to get more money, but I also don't want it to come in so low that you go, well, gosh, Josh, if I had known it was going to be that cheap, I could have gotten an extra garage bay.
Uh-huh.
That's a disservice to you as well. So our cost estimators that we work with work all over the state of North Carolina and all up and down the East Coast. So we know what the market conditions are going to be the day we go out to bid. So
Okay.
we plan very closely and pride ourselves on it.
All right, let me ask my final question, and he's going to be very interested in this too, and he'll probably ask it a different way, but I've got some numbers here that I put up, and that's the same page, page 20. The final column is delivery method, and I've taken the liberty of putting next to the delivery method the final cost, over or under. And I find it very interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them were design build, and 1, 2, 3 were construction manager. What's the AR?
At
for?
risk.
At risk. Okay. So the final cost was just slightly over on the design builds, except for one, it came in under. But the CMAR, the construction manager, boy, they were just about right on each and every time. So I'm looking at that, and if I was throwing my $5 out here, I'd go, hey, let's go CMAR. What's the difference between the two, and what do you think?
In the way that we record our numbers, the numbers for the CMAR jobs have a contingency built into them, and that contingency is where the change orders go to during construction. In a design bid build project, if there's a change order, that has to come back out of your pocket directly. So in other words, CMAR comes up, we price out the project, you write a guaranteed maximum price contract with them. We include some sort of contingency with that. And they say, okay, $5 million. And you go, okay, $5 million. At the end of the job, with any luck, you get 50 grand back, right? Now on a design bid build, we put it out to bid. The contractor says, okay, we're going to build it for 4.9 million. And then we work with them and we say, okay, well, we found some unsuitable soil. This product isn't made anymore. We've got to coordinate this electrical piece. And then they write a bunch of change orders, and then they get paid for the additional work. And then by the end of the job, it costs $5 million
Out of our pocket.
out of your pocket. So
Right.
in the end, maybe they come out the same price. Maybe one's a little more than the other or not. But one of them, you control the pricing with the contractor during design into construction. The other one, we design and then throw it out to bid to whoever wants to give us a price.
All right, I'm gonna yield the floor to Mr. Brown, because he'll talk to you about this now.
So basically, the first thing you were talking about was design build, correct?
There's design bid
Mm.
build, and
Correct.
then there's CMAR, which is kind of a modified design build.
That's what Dave was talking about,
The CMAR.
the
The
CMAR.
CMAR.
That's what I was, that's what I was referencing. So that's what we formerly would call time.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So on what's on, what I looked through and that's, I pay attention, mine's on.
Oh, I believe you. Yes, sir.
Listening to you, but so when I look on and I see design, bid, build,
Mhm.
and then I see the CMAR,
Mhm.
which is what we, oh, but design.
Right.
What's the disadvantage to design build? Industry wide. Now, I know you have your own personal issues with design build.
I do.
And I understand those issues. But there's also issues going whatever direction that you go to build a building now.
Right.
what is your honest feeling on design build?
I enjoy design build because I think you control quality a little more. And you choose a contractor based on qualifications. You do have to pay 3% more maybe because they're going to have an upfront fee,
Correct.
what they call pre-construction services.
Correct.
But if we get good participation in a design build slash CMAR kind of configuration, then we have a trusted partner, right? So let's say I leave tonight and you say, you know, I do trust Josh. We do the same thing with your contractor and you say, we've got it. We've got the architect we need and we've got the contractor we need. They're going to take care of us, tell us what we need to hear, help us make the right decisions. Design build, we get a direct feedback of the market that day. And then it's managing that pot of money through construction with that contractor who may or may not have picked everything up. They took the lowest price on all the drywall. That drywall sub goes out of business. General things that happen. The perception on design build is that, well, we don't get the lowest price. Fact of the matter is, your design build contractor is required by state law to bid every package.
Correct.
So we get the best price. You pay him a 3 or 5% construction management fee, and we go build a building. So
So the,
I enjoy design build.
so the CMAR is really the best way to go as far as you're going to get the best quality for what you're paying for.
Well, my attorney would advise me never to agree with you, but
Because there's laws, either way you go.
Yep.
There's laws that govern the
What they do.
construction. I mean, there are things just like you, that they're gonna have to do. They don't, I mean, they got to stay in back.
they got,
So if they don't, then they won't be ordering anything else.
no, they won't because they'll be in
Because
trouble with the state.
Others people are gonna take legal action. I mean, you know, you just don't,
That's right.
that's not gonna happen. So, I had another one. So on all of these that I was looking at on my phone and now in Dave's book, which one of these is closest to what we're looking at for Wilson's Mills?
Size wise,
Mm-hmm.
I think size wise, we had you guys around based on your number of officers and your future projections. I was guesstimating you're going to be around 12,000 to 15,000 square feet. That's on the higher end. We can pull back down to about 10,000 and deal with your current need and try to plan for expansion. I would say out of that book, the ones that are most closely approximating that size are going to be City of Washington. And then I don't know if Town of Gibsonville's in there or not.
Isn't
But
that
I-
the one we got, Chief?
I sent you the plans.
Yes, that's the one we looked at our work session the other day.
So
Yeah.
they're getting ready they're working on a loan to get ready to build that one now. We're completing advanced site work for that project. That's a 15,000 square foot and that's going to carry them for a long time. I mean, they're thinking 20 years plus for that.
So tell me that time.
Gibson.
That was Town of Gibsonville and City of Washington were
That's
the
the one we
two.
looked at the other day. We had at the church.
Oh, they're there.
Oh,
You know what page that
I- Chief has got the plans, but I don't think they're in here.
I don't think Gibsonville was in there.
No, I don't think it
Yeah,
is.
because it's still in,
Planning.
they're getting ready to go to construction with that one.
So is there one in here that's
It-
that you've seen?
So Washington's on the cover. Pretty sure that's City of Washington on there. Okay. That's the one, yes, sir.
And
So
how big is this one?
that one's a little larger. That one's pushing 20,000 square
Right, that's
feet.
what I thought. Yeah.
But it has all the organizational components plus a couple extra, I think. They've got a license plate agency they've added on the side of it towards the end of.
Well,
the
I know
site.
the plans that we were looking at the other day that the Chiefs got from
Mm-hmm.
Gibson, he said that he might not need all those officers, so, I mean, offices, so we might be able to cut it back a little bit.
Yeah, and
Uh,
that makes sense. I
yeah.
agree. Yeah.
So what's the building, price per square foot on Washington?
That one,
Do you recall?
I
Approx-
do. So approximately at the time we did that one wrapped up a couple years ago. I want to say that was around $600 a square foot. That one was built in a 500-year FEMA floodplain. So it had to be elevated about 3.5 feet,
Oh,
which
man.
required us to bring in a pretty significant amount of fill. And that was a big cost driver on that job.
Yeah.
I can't recall.
I don't know if it is or not.
I can't recall, Councilman Brown, but I'm happy to get you that.
Um,
Well, we wouldn't need one that big though, as the 20,000 square foot, I
Right.
don't think.
yeah, I mean, I didn't know if you had a project that was maybe going on. I asked that, and I didn't figure you
Yeah.
remember those numbers. I asked that to follow up and see if you had one that you were, you know, constructing, that one was, that was in construction now, square footage, price per square foot.
We just finished one in Virginia at 20,000 square feet and it came in at 670 a square foot. We're designing one now in Mount Airy, Maryland, that is 9,000 square feet and the pricing up in that area is right around 550 a square foot. Given your site, you're going to be on the lower end because I think you got a pretty flat, even site. You're not going to have a whole lot of rough grading, which
Deal.
is what we're seeing a lot of costs in right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think the site soil wise would be good in that area.
Right.
It's nothing wet in that area, so there's be no
Exactly.
reason to dig a hole to fill it back in. I mean, I think that's, I think that's about all. I just wanted to make sure that I asked about what, you know, the CMAR, what
Yes, sir.
I used to call design build.
Yep.
And the design bid build. I just want to make sure that this council understands, coming from an architect, and that our citizens understand it as well.
Right.
Because, you know, you get all these Qs and Fs and, I mean, all this stuff. I mean, it can be confusing if you're not in construction.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, any more questions? Anyone?
Well, yeah, I do want to talk about one thing, and I don't know how to phrase it, sir. On page 21, down the bottom where it says litigation, said yes. So if you just highlight some, without getting, I know you can't get into specifics, but I guess I should read over it again before I start asking questions about what happened litigation wise. Involved.
No, you don't want to get involved with a shady company. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the litigation that's ongoing is all, some of them were material, not up to standard, et cetera.
Right.
I see, I don't know how to rephrase the question. I don't know if I even have a question. I was thinking a creative person always going to be involved.
You took the answer out of my mouth, sir.
Yeah. You have on-board attorneys, you got all stuff taken care of.
Oh.
Not getting it.
No, you're not getting in the middle of that, and I'm not bringing any of that to your doorstep. Any litigation we're involved in is not because we brought it.
Okay. So what we need to decide is whether we want them to design our police department. And remember, this is not constructing it. This is designing it. Architect design
Yes, ma'am.
that we can take and do construction whenever we have the money to do it.
Correct.
So this is just the plans to get the plans to this,
Yes.
to build it. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm. Idea with. Also, I like the degree to which you're going into detail stuff. I really like they coming out with what the budgets were. I don't have to ask, but I just wanted to find out, how you think this was right on the money each and every time. So are you suggesting, or, we go with the construction management
Seymour,
avenue?
That is preferred.
Yeah.
I do think we've got some time to consider that and to watch the market and see how it reacts. And then I'm certainly able to talk to our contracting partners on other projects to gauge their interest and how they would want to see this project done. But most of the time they prefer a CMAR methodology.
Are you able to comment if you know or you don't know, with respect to litigation and how it ties into some of these projects, with it ties into the delivery method? Is most of your litigation through the design build program or?
It's interesting. Some of our litigation isn't even tied to the project itself. It's tied to other things. So it's hard to say. But I'd say I don't know of any off the top of my head that are tied to CMAR or design build.
I just want, I have another one, another, I just want to make sure that I understand this correct. That, Mayor, you correct me if I'm wrong, that we're voting to approve, the design, not the construction, not just the design.
the architect design, yes.
And we can take that, we can give it to, work with you. Also, we want to take those and take them to someone else. They're going to be usable if we choose John Public Construction Company and we bid it out. What you're proposing to
Give us, yeah.
contract with us is usable for others.
So this is a nuanced thing about architecture, and I don't want to overcomplicate this, but architects provide instruments of service, and that's what our drawings are technically considered. Those drawings require a certain level of interpretation. Our services would traditionally run all the way through construction. Okay, we would have phases beyond what we've currently written into our contract, which include what we call bidding and negotiation, where we help the contractor bid the project. And then we would have construction administration, where we come out to the site and confirm that the building is being built in accordance with the plans. To your question, these drawings will be usable, right? We can take them and bid them out. But I said we, meaning us here in this room. We would want to be included as part of that. Because should you take our drawings and have someone else build from them and then call me and say, Josh, they built the building upside down, what do? I would say, I don't know. I didn't realize you were building the project. Why wasn't I there to help interpret the drawings? So does that make sense? When you go to, well, I don't want to give that example.
It does to me. I understand what you're saying. I just want to make sure that we council and our community understand that if we bring in what you draw up, it does not mean that it will not change. It does not mean that if we say, look, thank you for your time, they're awesome, we're gonna part company.
Right.
And we're gonna go with a construction company, because out of A, B, and C construction, we sent out bids based on your drawings. We're going with A. They're gonna build. Just because you drew it up and it's got that architectural stamp on it, does not mean that a company is gonna build it like you're planning to say.
Yes, sir. Well said. Yep. It is not,
Just make
yep,
sure everybody understands that,
yep,
because that's not okay. If
right.
you want to do that, you have to go back in time to the time piece.
Yeah. We're not handing them a set of instructions on how to build a building. We're
Right.
handing them a documentation of what you want to see built.
I mean, it's a lot.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
It's a lot.
And I'm going to be right here the whole way through. I mean, communities like this don't make this type of investment lightly.
I have one question for Leanna. Is this within our budget for the grant?
The design is, yes.
Yes, that's what I
It
thought.
is not the,
See, this is what we've got to keep in mind and make sure that you understand. You can design this building, but we don't have the money to pay to build it. Until we can get more money, we just want the design done because we have the grant money to pay for that. At the time that we get the money, then we're going to want to put it on the ground. And it may be you that we contact to do that, and we can keep moving. By the time you get it designed, I'm hoping and praying that we got some more money and we can just keep rolling. But right now, all we're doing is designing.
Yep.
And that's all this money is for. And it's what the grant money was given to us for, to pay for the design of this building. And make sure that it has the things that the police department wants and needs in that building. And it's up to code. And I know that you have built many, many, many buildings for police departments. And so you know what you're doing. So we can be assured of that it's going to be acceptable when you finish with it.
If I may, Mayor,
Yes.
this is exactly what we've worked through with Gibsonville. We designed their building. They've used that design as leverage to be able to say, we're ready to go. If we only had the
Some money.
funding, help us get the funding. And that's been a big boon to them. But
Yeah.
that is absolutely how we've worked with Gibsonville.
And that's what we're going to have to
Yes,
do. We're
ma'am.
going to have to, when we get the design in our hand and say, this is what we've got, now we need the money to build it.
Yep.
And that's what we're going to have to do, go after more money from the state and the federal and anybody else that can help us. You heard that, Chief. Go get us some money. And he's going to try to be getting some public works grants in there, I mean, police grants, so.
So the turnaround time, this count, 6, 8 months, 10 months.
6 months for design is a comfortable time frame for a project this size. We can always do it in less, but then it cheats you guys out of review time. So we want to make sure you've got time to review and understand what's in it.
And how often do you fill us in?
As often as you like. If you say, Josh, go away and call me when it's done, I will. If you say we want you to come and present once a month, I'm happy to do that as well.
What are we looking at, Leanna? What are you thinking? Monthly, 3 months, 6 months?
I think it's going to depend on the progress.
Mhm.
And, I can keep you guys up to date. And then if you want him to come in and go over some stuff with you, we can certainly do that at a meeting, a regular meeting or a work session.
If I may, the architectural process is typically defined by a few different phases. So there's programming and conceptual design, there's schematic design, design development, and construction documents. Each one of those completion times provides a really good stopping point for me to come in here and say, okay, guys, here's what we've got. Does this look good? And then approve us to move forward with the next phase.
That-
And at that meeting, I can present it, we can talk about it, and you can say, go ahead or stop, back up. We can talk about it then. So that
Okay.
might be good.
Also, during this time, are you going to be in contract with chief and the police department to make sure you're putting in there what?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, that's my primary responsibility
Right.
is to first to the town, obviously, but then after that is to the chief.
okay. Because I want to be sure that the chief and the officers have enough say-so in it that it's got what they need and what they want.
Oh, we'll be all the way down to the toilet paper dispenser by the time we're
Okay.
done, ma'am.
Okay, I don't want us to build or design a building that our police department does not want.
Correct.
I mean, it's not our build, I mean, it is our building, but we're not going to be using it. I want to be sure it's something that they want.
And it's not my building either, so it does me no good to design something y'all don't want.
Exactly, exactly. Okay,
How much was the grant for? How much was the grant for?
The total grant, that's part of the 3 million for the town hall campus. So this is fitting into the
Yeah.
planning for the campus.
So, the way that it's going as far as cost on the campus, we're not gonna need to come back and say, well, we're gonna run 52,000 or 50,000 short.
That's a question for him, but I've got the number that he gave me in our budget. So yes,
That's the
That-
520,
the 552,
right. that's it,
329.
okay.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure.
got
that
553 in
it's
there.
working Within our.
It is.
yes,
big
it
block.
is.
It is
yes.
the last,
We don't come back and after, if this council approves this and say, well, $20,000 short, y'all need to approve
Yeah.
20,000.
the last grant project budget that you got had this number in it and everything was balanced.
Okay, sounds good.
Mayor, what do you need from us?
I need a motion to approve this contract.
All right, I'll make a motion that we
Right,
approve.
If I might.
Yes,
If you could, when you're doing the motion, the copy that you have before you still has some of the notes from the attorney. And I think the last conversations that we had with the attorney were the notes that he had put in there. You were fine with it. So this is still a marked up version. If you'll just make sure your motion.
just
states
make it
that
as
it's
presented.
As presented with the markups from
Okay.
the attorney.
All right, I make a motion, we approve the design project in accordance with the Mosley, approve the Mosley Architects bid and as presented and marked up. Is that correct, Leanna?
From the attorney, yes, sir.
From the attorney.
From the attorney.
Okay.
Anything else I need to say?
I got a motion. Motion made by Councilman McGowan to approve the contract with Mosley as it is written with markups by the attorney.
In the amount of,
$553,329. I'm sorry, $552,329. Motion made by Councilman McGowan, seconded by Council Pro Tem, Mayor Pro Tem Triplett. Any discussion? Any more questions? All in favor?
Before we move on and vote, I just want to say that I appreciate you being here, and I did look at the numbers of how projects go, and, you know, there's no guarantee that there'll be this project would not overrun or come up, you know, savings. And I just want to say that I understand that this is part of a grant that we got, that we received, the town received. It's hard, it's really hard for me and as a small town council person, even though I understand the run for $500,000. That's tough for me.
Mhm.
On a 15,000 square foot building. Architectural design.
But remember what it's being used for. It's not just a building, it is a police department.
I understand, but it's still, that's still, I mean, it's still a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. Okay, we have a motion. It has been seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed?
Thank you, Mayor.
can we verify, so
Uh,
that you were voting no? Okay, and everybody else was a yes.
Yes.
Cool. Have a
Thank
great
you.
night. Appreciate you.
Look forward to working with you. Yes, it is. Okay. we have the bids for the shelter at the dog park.
Could you, go
Oh.
back up and can we get a motion to
Oh, okay,
table
I'm sorry.
item B2?
Um, the nuisance abatement, we need to table that. We need a motion to table that until, October the 20th.
That we table the discussion about nuisance abatement for the meeting of October 2025.
Motion made by Councilman McGowan, seconded by Councilman Brown. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now, we have the bid for the dog park. We have two bids. Patrick did a very good bid sheet. He told them what he wanted. And we have one from NC Property Works LLC in the amount of $8,500 and one from Max Cox, $9,500.
I don't see where there's going to be a whole lot of discussion in here.
I don't know.
The second bid is bordering along the one we had years ago for the maintenance shed in its simplicity. So, I don't know what you want from us, but there's two of them, and I certainly don't want the second one. It just,
We need a motion to.
yeah, I make a motion that we accept the bid by the NC Property Works LLC for $8,500.
Motion made by Councilman McGowan, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Trippett to accept the bid for NC Property Works LLC in the amount of $8,500. All in favor? All opposed? Okay.
Mayor, before you go to council comments, I just wanted to update everybody that, Gabriel's daughter is out of surgery
Okay.
and she's doing well, and it was a nickel, not a quarter,
A nickel.
that she swallowed. And then she's
Determined.
doing well, and he wanted me to tell everyone, thank you for understanding that he needed to be there and for your thoughts and prayers.
Okay, some of the council didn't understand. Our attorney's daughter swallowed a nickel and it got hung in her windpipe. So they had to go to emergency surgery had to fly her to the hospital to get it out. That's why he's not here. So I'm glad they got it out, because they were afraid it was gonna cover her windpipe and she wouldn't be able to breathe. Okay. Council comment.
Yes, ma'am. If no one else has anything, I do. You can probably sit back and say, "Oh, it's the old windbag talking again," but this is important to me personally, and I thought I'd want to bring it out to the council also. So I kind of wrote it down, and I'll try and breeze through it as quickly as I can, even though, we are a small rural town here in North Carolina. I'm saying this, pretty much for the record, not trying to change any minds or anything with anybody or what have you. But even though Wilson's Mills is a small and rural town within the state of North Carolina, our opinions still matter. And as an elected member of our town leadership, I'd like to express mine regarding the senseless killing of Mr. Charlie Kirk. His death is a stain upon who we are as a nation. And keep in mind that we are small, but 99.99% of the populace of the United States doesn't have a voice. We don't have much of a voice here, small town, but I'm going to take a shot at it here. And anyway, it's a stain on who we are as a nation, as is the senseless recent killing of the young Ukrainian women on the light rail in Charlotte, the two boys celebrating Mass in Minneapolis, and the wounding of two school children in Colorado. It's not a statement on gun control, but rather a statement that we, as a part of the great nation, need to do better in raising our children and encouraging them to think for themselves, using the ideals that we as parents and grandparents instill in them, and not the extreme ideology festering in some of our schools and many of our colleges and universities. And I encourage our Johnson County School Board to take steps to ensure that our children in their care are not being influenced or even molded to become anything other than upstanding citizens of this great nation. And I sincerely hope that this council will join me in extending our condolences to Mr. Kirk's wife, children, and family. And remember that no town is too small that we can ignore what's happening to our younger generation and not feel compelled to act in some positive way. And I would hope that our county and fellow municipal leaders would feel likewise. And thank you.
Thank you.
I would just, first of all, are we going, are we gonna be talking? Chamber Progress?
Yes, sure. Somebody. The chamber, he wanted to know the progress on the chamber, how we stand on that.
You asking me to
Yes.
address that now? Oh,
Yes.
I mean, if we're not gonna address it later, yeah, I mean,
No.
I would just like to know.
We're not going to address that in the
Oh,
closed session.
but yeah, okay,
oh, no, not in the
just the
closed session.
yeah, the progress on it.
Um,
Cause it don't look like a whole lot's been going on to me.
there's more going on inside right now and inside the walls with electrical wires. Because we've accidentally lost power a couple of times, but that's to be expected. We knew that was going to happen. But they are on schedule. We met last Tuesday. We've ordered furniture, appliances. I mean, we're on schedule. So do you have any like specific questions about? And
No.
if anybody wants to come by, you can go inside and look, because from the outside, it does not look like anything has changed in like 5 months. But on the inside, it looks like a completely different place.
And what's the projected date? I can't remember.
End of November, they're hoping for a CO by 1st of December. So we are trying our best to see if we can have our organizational meeting in December in that council chambers.
Well,
So
that's
the AV bids came back. That's been, we've chosen who is going to be doing that and the sign bids. So all of that's being worked on, and I think everything's going to start coming together all at one time in the next 6 weeks. So it's going to be a lot busier, but
And-
inside it looks a whole lot different. So
They did have a delay because they had a county inspection that was a little bit delayed, and that's,
it was delayed, but they were working on other parts of it. So they are still on schedule. They're still on the original schedule that they presented to us, which is pretty impressive
Yeah,
for
I
a
think
job
so
like
that
that.
sounds good.
So,
I think.
One thing that I wish that we would consider, at some point is we're gonna have a pretty nice looking, well, a doggone good looking town
Same.
hall.
Yeah, we are.
When it's all done, and at some point, and you take it how you will, but we need to look at doing some kind of decorative fence in front of our town hall instead of old ag fence.
you mean the DOT right-of-way fence?
Yeah, do something there. Yeah,
Both sides?
no, just at the road, at 70.
That might be done when we put in the sign out there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're gonna have a nice sign, we're gonna have a
Right.
nice looking place, and then we got horse wire. But anyway,
We
Are
can
you
totally
donating a
talk with
fence for us?
DOT
Council-
about that?
Are you donating a fence for us,
you
Councilman?
know what? I will donate an estimate
fence
in
at
a
all.
teeny minute.
I didn't donate an
If you didn't
estimate. That's
say-
it.
We have talked with the DOT about it, and we are going to have
Yeah.
some leverage to change that or remove it, which would be my preference to not have a fence at all. Because if
Yeah.
we're going to spend all this money on a new sign that's
We
going
just
on
want a
that
sign out there.
lawn,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, but anyway,
So,
Yeah.
finally,
That's
I'd
the
just
fence
like
guy.
to say that I had written down some stuff as well, Dave. And I'm not gonna go back over what you did, and you pretty much hit my points. I just want to say that this community, this county, this state, this nation, we need to really, we need to pray for each other. we need to pray that for our country, when we say our country, our citizens. You know, we're all made in God's image. Doesn't matter what you look like, how tall you are, it doesn't matter. We need to pray that we would have love and compassion for each other and understanding. I mean, we disagree. I disagree tonight with this council. I still love y'all. I disagree on probably more items than anybody that's ever been on this council. But I still don't have any ill will towards anybody. And I just think that we need to just pray that we would have the love that Christ said we ought to have for one another, for our country and each other, for our citizens. But my condolences does go out. It's not just one. It's the ones that you mentioned. It's just pure hate.
It's evil.
It's evil.
Yes,
And the only way to defeat evil,
is with love.
to have that love and to pray.
Yes.
Thank you.
Amen. Anyone else? Well, I would like to say that I am very thankful that our council has, since the last year or two, has learned to work together and to have work days where we can sit down and agree to disagree and work together to get to the final project. And that's very important for us as a council and for our citizens and for our staff. Because if we're debating at this table, our staff can't do their job. And I thank you all for doing that we can sit down and work together and support our staff and to do what we have to do for our citizens. And that's important. And I think that the love that you were talking about starts in the home. And a lot of times the children of this nation are not being instructed in the home to be the people they need to be. And that's where it needs to start. So at this time, I open our second open forum. And since there's no one to come forward, I close our second open forum. And I need a motion. Okay.
Can I ask one thing? I just want to make sure of one thing before we close out.
Okay.
Is there any? Never mind. I'll ask that later. I'll ask that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need a motion to go.
Motion, we go into closed session in accordance with General Statute 143.318.11A, Atom 4 for development. And can I continue with the second one?
Yes.
And also for General Statute 143.318.11A as in Atom 6 for personnel.
Motion made by Councilman McGowan, seconded by Councilman Dobbin to go into closed session.
Could you invite Planning Director Wendy Oldham to the first portion of that closed session?
In my motion that we invite Planning Director Wendy Oldham into the first portion of this session.
Okay. All in favor?
All right.
Carolyn? All opposed? Okay. You seconded it. Yeah. So we're going to go into the, yeah. Yeah. Go into conference room.